Cause I've been through it a few times. My watch was Johnny Dang, I was trapping out the hoop ride. Every story got two sides. You should see the coupe glide. The ride's smooth, but the road to get it was no smooth ride.
All right, everybody, I've been excited for this one. We're backstage at Union Hall, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, with the one, the only 7ide7smoke here for the performance tonight. What's happening, bro?
Just chilling, man, you know, just getting ready, catching a vibe, and just, yeah, man, you know, by the time you walk in the venue, the work's already done, right? So it's like, now you just got to show up and perform.
Got to show up and deliver, man. So talk to me about your strategy for tonight's show. Obviously opening up for Mobb Deep with the New York hip-hop legend Havoc. I mean, talk to me about sort of what's been spinning through your mind all day leading up to this.
Well, obviously, like, the selection of music that we've chosen to play is a little bit tougher, a little bit grimier. New York influence, or East Coast influence at least. A lot of hard bars. We got a few little like melodies here and there that we're throwing in on it, but make sure to stay away from any of like the new school type stuff and all of that, you know what I mean? Which is pretty easy for me because you know me, like I'm bar heavy. I'm a rapper's rapper, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty easy for me. I just try and select like the type of songs that I think, number one, my fan base knows, so they can enjoy themselves when they come. And number two, the type of songs that are gonna resonate with the crowd that came here to see the headliners. You don't want to fight against the crowd, you know what I'm saying? So that's basically, that's the game plan. Just go up there, have some fun. My DJ is out there right now, Dow Jones, right? He's playing the whole party, so I have great chemistry with him. And he kind of understands too, like if he starts feeling like he's losing the crowd on one of my songs or whatever, we just hit the cut, go to the next one, rearrange it, whatever we got to do. So that's the benefit of having a DJ that you mess with full time.
And you've spoken about that too, man, just really reading the vibes of the crowd. And because a lot of rappers show up and they have like a very preset idea of what they want to do. It sounds like you're just going with the crowd on whatever they decide, you know, that you should do.
I mean, the crowd is like, you ever heard like customers always right?
Exactly.
The crowd is your customer.
The crowd's always right.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, if you see the crowd getting restless, I mean, maybe it's time to pack it up. Maybe it's time to cut it a song short. Maybe, you know, you understand, okay, that was a bad song selection, so jump out of it halfway through. Just tell the DJ, cut, spin to the next, whatever you got to do, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, if your customers are unhappy, then your business isn't going to thrive. And you have to look at music as a business, not just an art form. So at the same time, it's like, yes, I want to get up here and I want to perform all the songs that I love, and I want to have fun on my stage for my 15 minutes. It's not about me, it's about the customer experience, the people that paid to be here, the people that are excited to see Mobb Deep, and the people that have waited all night to see them. You don't want the crowd to turn against you. You want to make sure that they enjoy their time and they get what they came for.
100%. So, I mean, talk to me about what sets you up for the best performance, especially as an opener who may be exposed to a lot of this audience for the first time tonight. I mean, what sets it up to be a great night, and what are some factors that might happen before you take the stage that you might say, shit, this might be a challenging set?
Be prepared. If you're gonna do live show tracks, which I suggest, especially doing like with Mobb Deep, tonight is a little bit disappointing for me. We weren't able to get here in time for sound check. There was a bunch of like things going on. Mobb Deep had to do theirs, and it was just a really convoluted sort of night, which is fine. It was nobody's fault. It just happens sometimes. So I wasn't able to wear the in-ear monitor, and I don't rap over live show tracks if the venue isn't built for the in-ear monitor and all of that, right? Because the worst thing that could happen is you get up there, the monitors, you can't hear them, you don't got the in-ear, and now you're losing your place. It looks like you don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
So,
and the crowd can't really tell exactly what's going on most of the time.
They have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, you have to be prepared. You have to understand who the audience is. You have to make sure that you're watching the crowd. Like, the other openers are going up, and if they're doing really hype, poppy style songs, and the crowd is not reacting to it, cut it out your set if you got one of those. You know what I mean? Like, just revamp on the fly. If you're an artist and you're opening for an act this big in front of 700 people, if you don't have the ability to take a song out or put a song in or maneuver on the fly, then maybe you shouldn't be on the stage. Maybe you got to cut your teeth a bit more before you can get here, right? So there's definitely things to watch for, and there's definitely mistakes that can be made, but overall, as long as you're prepared, you know your music, you've practiced, and you have a relationship with the DJ, and you understand like what's supposed to happen at what time, you'll be all right, man. Just, you know, like I said, just be prepared.
That's it, that preparation. And it also sounds like it's the ability to really roll with the punches and expect the unexpected. You know, there's always going to be things that come up, especially on show days. And I can relate with interviews as well that you don't expect. I mean, it seems like you really, you know, take those in stride. How long do you think it took you to get to that point as an artist?
A lot, man. Still, there's sometimes that I struggle with it where I'm just like, I'm very over controlling. I want everything to work out exactly how it's supposed to work out, when it's supposed to work out, and when it doesn't, I have a hard time letting go of that like vision that I had in the first place. But I realized that like you have to be fluid. If something goes wrong, you can't just scrap the whole night. It doesn't work like that.
No.
You're not gonna get anywhere because there's always gonna be something that goes wrong. Right? So just being fluid and being able to do that. I mean, it took me years to get to that place, but that's also because I didn't have anybody to explain that to me. Right? I didn't have anybody that would like sit down. Like I didn't have a manager at the time that would sit down and be like, listen, yo, this went wrong, but fuck it, we going crazy right now. Like, cut the song, cut this, whatever, do whatever you gotta do. Because at the end of the day, there's not a single person in that crowd that knows what I'm supposed to do. Right? It's just like, to them, it's all the same. Whether my vision comes true exactly or not, doesn't matter. What really matters is getting up on the stage, doing the best that you can do, doing the job that you're getting paid to do, and making sure everybody enjoys themselves. And that's it. Like circling back to that, it's not about me. It's not about how I feel. It's not about what I want. It's about what they want, what they paid for, and what they're gonna get.
Which is something I think is pretty rare though in the rap game, because this is a game, especially, you know, when it comes to the music, where it's a lot of me, and the ego seems to come first with so many rappers, and to the point where they may even be serving themselves more so than the song, the performance, whatever it might be at that time. You know, do you feel like that's something that's missing in the rap game a lot, like that level of professionalism, but also the accountability that you need to focus on the show first?
Yeah, I do. And you know why? Is because I feel like a lot of the new rappers, not new rappers, I can't even say that, but I feel like rappers are typically young. You know, they get in the game at like 18, 19, right when all them young kids around them are, you know, you still got 500 friends. You know, when you get to be 30 years old, right, you got 5 friends.
Yeah, you got 4 years to call.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, when you're young and you're popping and you're getting attention, it's hard for you to kind of swallow the ego and understand why you're here, because you never really face no real consequences for having that ego. But for me, it's like, even like when I got locked up, bro, it's like you go in there, doesn't matter if you drive $1 million car, doesn't matter if you got a fucking $4 million home, doesn't matter if you got $100,000 worth of jewelry that you put on your neck every morning, doesn't matter about none of that, because they strip you down, they put you in the orange coveralls, and you're the same as the crackhead next to you in the cell that's puking from withdrawals. You might as well be the exact same. There's nothing different about you except for your character, right? So it's like, I apply that to a lot of everyday life now, where it's like, it doesn't matter what people think I have or what they think I am, or the image that I project or any of that. Like, whatever that is, that's all ego. And at the end of the day, that ego is just on top of the character, right? So your character's got to be solid. You got to be straight with your character. You got to be able to come in here, swallow the ego, understand who the customer is, understand who you're serving and why you're here, and understand how you're even able to be here. If it wasn't for the fans, if it wasn't for those people down there, if it wasn't for the motion that they're affording me, I wouldn't be here in the first place. So to come here and have an ego where I'm like, nah, like I'm gonna perform what I want and do what I want and move how I want, it's like, it's disrespectful to the people that put you here in the first place.
Definitely. It doesn't fly if you really want to take this seriously and take it to that next level.
Yeah, but then that's exactly it. Do you actually want to take it to the next level, or do you just want the attention for the moment? Because there's a whole lot of late nights, early mornings, missed sleep, fucking red-eye flights, and headaches that come behind this shit when you do it as a business.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When you do it as an Instagram rapper, everything's fun. You get all the comments and the messages and the likes and da-da-da-da-da and all this, and that's fun. That's the fun part.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The hard work comes after that.
Talk to me about how you find yourself within that, though, because we're obviously in that generation with a lot of the IG rappers. Now we got the TikTok rappers. Everybody's more so worried about perpetuating an image than even, you know, maybe the creative work. I feel like you are the complete opposite, but you find your footing within that, and like you can still hang with everybody. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, I don't like to say it, you know what I'm saying, but like some of the sons, like the young guys, like a lot, especially in the city, they call me like big homie or OG or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I've been at that point where like, it's like a lot of them grow up like their older brothers are like, you know what I'm saying, like my little homies and shit. So like they're generations below me where they're finally like kind of like getting to that spot. So I mean, I feel like there's a big gap sometimes between like the young guys and the old guys, and it's like, no, my music's better, no, my music's better, right? But it's like, again, that comes back to the ego, right? Like when I was young, the older guys used to say my music was shit and their music was better, right? So it's like it's the same cycle. So if you could just swallow that ego, it's like, yo, listen, bro, either get on the boat and head in the direction that we're headed in, and everybody can get some money together and we can all make music together and we can all have fun together and live our lives and shit, or we can go in opposite directions, and either way the young guys are the ones steering the boat. It doesn't matter. The young guys are going to determine what pops next, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to fight with the young guys, you're just going to be the old head that doesn't get no money and can't make no music because you're the old cranky guy in the corner, bro. And that's
Exactly.
I prefer to help the young guys, guide them, give as much advice as I can, and still do my thing. And that's where we get that kind of that attitude from the young guys, especially in the city, where they're like, nah, like that dude's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really with the shit, and he's really like he's really being truthful. He gives a lot of game and shit. They show me love because of that. Where like, if I was being the old guy that was just arguing all the time and like, yo, y'all ain't shit, y'all don't even know about this, y'all don't know about that, then it's like, it's just gonna be, yeah, it's just gonna be hatred. They're gonna be putting up roadblocks and shit, and we don't give the young guys enough credit, man. There's a lot of guys down there that are 19, 20 years old, came here from Mobb Deep, and you know what I mean? You would have never even thought some of them kids would know that shit, but they're not closed off to the music. They're just on their own wave, and you have to respect that.
Exactly, man. And just like you're saying, that was you at one point. So, you know, you have to put yourself in the shoes of that person, even if it's, 10 years later or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly it, right? So we were all in that position at one point. And if you can just kind of like understand that, then you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
So how about in terms of, making the actual music and keeping those current relevant sounds while also honoring the classic hip hop? Because like you said in the beginning, you're always barred up, you're always focused on the actual lyricism, but I feel like you've been experimenting with a lot of that melodic stuff as well, more and more.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing is, like, if you want to like take this shit to the next level, you gotta have the ability to do everything.
Yeah.
Right? So like, just because I love to rap doesn't mean that rapping's gonna get me where I want to go. Right? Not just rapping alone. It's what I'm known for, but it's not gonna get me to the peak, right? So it's like, again, just like you could get stuck in your ways and say, nah, I'm just gonna rap. Okay, cool. Well, then you just gonna be the 65-year-old dude just rapping outside the club still. Like, that is embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like, give it up, bro. If you don't want to like really elevate to the next level, then that's fine. You don't have to, but just move out my way and let me do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, man. I treat it like a job. I go to the studio, like I said, like I got the water sponsorship, all that shit. I don't really drink. I don't like to party too much. I like to just get out there, get in the studio, work, write, treat it like a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people around me testify to it too. Like, we go on a trip, I don't stop working the whole time, bro. I'm not out there vacationing. It might look like we partying and shit, but I don't stop working the whole time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
you want it to have a certain, look, like you guys are having a good time. Like, you want to make it look easy to a degree, but it's about what you're actually doing behind those scenes, right?
Yeah, we have fun when we go, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm blackout drunk, how am I going to remember to shout out my sponsor? Exactly. If I'm blackout drunk, how the fuck I'm going to remember we need to do 2 interviews right now? If I'm drunk, how am I going to shoot 4 videos in 2 days? Like, how am I going to manage the bookings, the rentals, the scheduling, all that shit? You know what I mean? You can't, bro. So it's like, you're not going to show up to work. I mean, most people aren't going to show up to work blackout drunk.
If you want to keep your job.
Yeah, if you want to keep your job, and if you want to do well at your job. And I want to do exceedingly well. I want to do so well that in 20 years, people use me as the blueprint for how to do well.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like, you're not doing that drunk all the time.
No.
You know
So, and for anybody who doesn't know, by the way, because like I've sat in on studio sessions with Smoke, and it's been cool to watch him work completely sober. Every single session, every time, not a bottle, not a joint in the studio. Was that something that you had issues with before? And
Oh, yeah.
So, like, talk to me about how you evolved to being the man you are today with that.
I mean, it's kind of like the running theme, but it's just kind of like leaving the ego and the games behind. You know, when you're young, you want to party, you want the attention, you want to have fun, and you know what I mean, you're turning up in the studio and spending 2-3 hours there between the beat and the recording and the mixing, mastering, and the, you know what I mean, and then like all the bottles of liquor and everybody's there and you're having fun, and like you go home, you wake up the next morning, you spend $600 the day before, and you don't have one workable song. You know what I'm saying? And then you go back to the studio to fix the song, but you do it all again. You end up in the same cycle. So like, I mean, I wasted a lot of money, wasted a lot of time when I was younger. And when I came out of prison, I said, you know what, if I'm gonna do this, because now I feel like I have more of a message. I have meaning to the music. So I have a real message that I want to spread. I said, you know, if I'm going to do this, I got to really watch where I'm spending, because I don't have the bread I had when I was 20, 21 years old, where I could just throw stacks in the air. It didn't matter. Yeah. Now it's different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we're really budgeting. We're eating tuna and noodles if we got to. But that's for the goal, right? So that's basically my entire situation is just like, I'm grown now, and I gotta move like a grown man. And if I expect these young guys to listen to me, I can't be moving like I'm 18. I gotta move like a grown man so they understand that this advice is coming from somebody that's been there, done that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree, dude. And as somebody from the younger generation, like I feel like, and even I'm getting up there now, you know, I feel like it's what makes the difference between the guy who stays too long at the party and the guy that you can actually look to for advice, look to for experience. That's what you're providing them, because you're leading by example, right? You're not leading by just talking or just, you know, projecting your own ideas of how it should be.
Nah, I'm just doing it, and if they ask for advice, they see me do it, they ask for advice, they want in on it, I show them this is how we move.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can lead you to the lake. I can't make you drink.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? I can give you the whole blueprint, but I can't make you go put the hard hat on.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
So let's say Smoke was sitting here across from you, but 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and you had the chance to tell him anything right now. What would you tell him?
I'd tell him, yo, the risk you taking ain't worth the reward. You got something important in front of you. Chase that. Yeah. Chase the dream, don't chase the money. Because if you chase the dream and you get the dream, the money comes behind it.
Exactly.
If you chase the money, you could lose it all. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to choose between chasing the dream or chasing the money, I don't care what age you are, I don't care what your position is in life, I don't care what you got going on. If you got two choices, chase the dream or chase the money, always chase the dream.
Yeah.
That's it.
It must be tough for you when you see people going down that road, but again, like, you can't actually jump in and change it and intervene. I mean, you must see a lot of people in the game going down similar paths.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say, and it sounds fucked up, but me, I don't care either way, bro. I'm from a neighborhood where it's like, you're either gonna do this or you're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And how we grew up and what we were doing, I already know that when I see a kid headed down there, unless you catch his ass at like 9, 10 years old, you're not gonna change his mind.
Yeah.
You gotta just be able to give him the game and move through it. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as like, if I took on all the stress and responsibility for every kid from the hood that was going down that road, I would never get anything accomplished.
No.
You know, it's not to say I don't give them the game. It's not to say that I don't say what needs to be said. It's not to say that I'm not there for support if they need it. But it's to say that every man makes his own decisions. And by 15 years old, I was a grown-ass fucking man. You know what I'm saying? So another 15-year-old doing that shit, I already know what his mind state is. It's just he's not open to hearing that shit. He gotta eat, whether it's his mom needs bread, they don't got rent, his little sister's sick, whatever the fucking situation is, because we all got one. You know what I'm saying? My words are not gonna be strong enough to deter him off that, right? So I can give him the game and walk away, and those words might affect him a month later, a year later, or 10 years later, right? But how it works is on God's timing. Allah will give him that timing when it comes.
You plant the seed, and then the rest is not up to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, if I took it personally with every young guy that I felt had a fucking spark of genius that was wasting it, I would never move around myself. I'd never be able to do it. I would just be caught up, because it would hurt too much to become emotionally connected to every single person.
That's truth right there, man. That's absolute truth.
That's
Smoke,
it.
this is the part one. We wanted to give the people a little taste of what we got coming up. We're definitely going to do a part two.
Yes,
and
sir.
There's a lot. I feel like I'm leaving with more questions than answers, which means it was a good interview. So.
Hell yeah.
Hey, man.
Appreciate it, Brody.
bro.
Come
Thank
on,
you.
man. Yes, sir. 7ide.